Now I'm going to run through all these exercises really quickly, so I've done them all very quickly. You would normally do them for 45 seconds to a minute, ideally a minute and a half if you can. Great. So now we're showing you a basic pike stretch. I've left a slight curve in the lower spine for the people that aren't supple. Toes out, lean forward, keep your legs together and knees straight. Done. So now you can advance it by leaning on your legs, as you can see. Again, you can, if those are more advanced, you can get the alignment correct, then lean forward. But for those that want to correct me about the technique about, oh, you shouldn't have a curve in your spine, some people do not have that suppleness, and it will come with getting a little bit of a curve in there and gradually working your way upwards. It'll gradually loosen off the hips and the lower back. Now this technique, you need to push your nose out towards your toes and your arms out to the side. And you'll find I'll show you with the slight curve and I'll show you with the perfect alignment, as you can see. Now the next one, you need to put your head towards the corner of the ceiling, like you're kind of stretching through your spine upwards while leaning forwards. Again, two positions, those that can't do it with the curve and those that can. Oh, do not overextend the lower back, okay? Now in this position, I've got my feet up, toes kind of up, pointing towards the ceiling, heel pointing out towards the opposite wall to you. Now you can do the same 4 techniques. In this one, you can grab your toes. You can see this is another way of doing it. And the X's are here, here, and here. Thank you, stewardess. So yeah, so grab your toes. Same technique, slight curve in the lower back. There's nothing wrong with it if you haven't got the flexibility. Again, same again, stretching over if there's no flexibility. Now you can do it with your back alignment correct and your hip alignment correct, just twisting from your hips. There we go. Toes towards you, heels out. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. So there we go. Nice and simple, exactly the same thing. The same 4 stretches can be done throughout these. Now the alternative to this is stretching to the opposite leg. Okay, this has its own benefits and it stretches various other muscles within the body. But again, it's up for you to try them out and also try it slightly curved and with perfect straightened alignment. Now this is a type of hurdle stretch that I'm doing now. My knees are together, there is no gap. Be very careful. If you can't do this, you need to work slowly up to this because I don't want you damaging your knees. But for those that have extremely tight extremely tight teardrops on your quads, this really helps. Again, alignment is key. So if you can get yourself nice and straight with your hips, great. If you can't, slight curve is okay. Now this is a more advanced version of the same stretch I just did. As you can see, twisting my upper body slightly, not so much my trunk. Now I straighten up my trunk and lean forward. See, all of the same techniques I'm using. I mean, there's billions of ways to stretch. Again, alternative, either hand, stretching out a bit further than the same technique. Now, if you watch this, I, on purpose, twist my trunk over. So my hips are still in the same position, but I'm twisting my trunk. Leaving the hips where they were. And again, lean to the side, leaning over. Yep, I've just shown you very quickly, as I say, alternative hands. You can twist away and do it as well. And you can also lean in the opposite direction. Now again, just advancing the technique a little bit more. As you can see, stretching over, I'm just showing you all the same techniques, just advancing my position. Now, whatever you do, don't rush into this and think, I can do this, because you can really do some damage. Now, if you watch carefully now, I'll hold the position, stretching up. Now, if you watch, I'm going to show you the same pike stretches, well, similar ones, but from a standing position, you must use proper hip alignment for these ones though, please. So just don't go low if you can't do them. Okay, again, that's the basic one. There's a slight curve I showed you again, but now I'm showing you pushing down to the floor, hands to your head, out to the side. Yep, head pointing forward and leaning forward slightly. All of these change the dynamics. Now, if you watch again, I'm going to show you from here. This is obviously extremely advanced, the Bruce Lee stretch, everyone knows about it. But if you work at it and work it, you can do it quite easily. There we go, there's me. So, again, now I'm going to show you a basic box stretch. I can go quite low, but I'm just going to show you a basic one. I'm not going too low in this one. How to advance it. Not from there, no, use your hips to lean forward. Now I apologise if I'm going through this extremely quickly, and any explanation you don't understand, please just message me below this video and I will explain it in much more detail, explain the exact muscle groups, everything. Right, so now same box stretch from the side, from your hips leaning forward. You can try with your hands out, leaning backwards onto the legs. You put a backwards force out towards your bottom, lean down your legs, lean out to your feet. Out, leaning forward as well, as you can see. Now a basic leaning forward box stretch. Straighten myself up and you get used to getting yourself straight. This is a way to work from basic to advanced in box stretch. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to hit the hip flexors. Now you keep the rear leg bent, front leg bent. toes, ball of the foot on the ground, but heel off the ground. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to force down and forward, keeping your hips facing forward, not out to the side. Okay, you're trying to stretch that hip flexors out and forward. Thank you, down and forward. Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Now I'm just going to change the stretch slightly, and if you watch, I'm going to get that rear leg straight now, perfectly straight. Now I'm going to put my hips forward like you're in a karate pose, and you watch, I show you quite clearly now, nice and straight. You can change it to the side and change it again. Basically you're limited to your movements, so as long as you keep yourself flexible and thinking out of the box, you can stretch a billion different ways for the same exercise. That last one was to do with your calves and hams. Follow me, my pretty. Right, so the next part is basically I'm using a wall to help stretch my calves. I haven't shown a lot of the basic calf stretches. I will do in another video, but this is quite an advanced one. But anyone can do it. Gradually work your way up to get as straight as possible to the wall. Now I'm going to show you the pike stretches and hurdle stretches and box splits via using the wall as a force to not let your feet move. Now you can stretch up higher on the wall, which affects the way the stretch goes. You can use your fingers, you can stretch out to the side, but use hip alignment with this if you can. For those that can't, don't worry about it. Just work your way up to it again, leaning over left to right. Okay, now I'm going to change it into a hurdle. As you can see, exactly the same thing. Leaning over. What I didn't add in this one, you can actually stretch upwards as well in the same hurdle stretch. You must do every exercise both sides. That's what I was demonstrating in this little bit there. As I say, if I'm talking extremely fast, I do apologise, there is a lot to get in. Okay, so foot must be against the wall and you stretch to the other side. Same as this. Some of these stretches work not just your hams and quads and calves, they work your adductors, they work along your glutes, they work along the obliques. Again, look, you can see different methods and different ways. Questions below.